Welcome back to John and Custom Teach. What is it?
John and Custom do Google Ad stuff. I don't remember.
We'll get it. Today we're talking about how to use the information you capture when you're tracking ETM parameters in order to optimize your campaign. How did I do there, John?
Yeah, good. This one's specifically about GCLID. And before everyone reports this video because they think I said something bad or dirty, GCLID is actually just the thumbprint that Google sends over with every single lead. And what's nice about this is it's an advanced strategy because you're taking something that Google automatically sends it to you, and then based on what happens to a lead, report back into Google Ads of what happened post-conversion. Now, I think we've touched upon this topic a little bit more, but I have a really great example I want to share with everyone today that shows you just how powerful this tool can be when you configure it inside of Google Ads to share with you data that is really important or really valuable. So I'm just going to start sharing screen here. And of course, the campaign's name will be hidden. But what I wanted to share with you is this client does debt consolidation. And what we're looking at is loan size. There's some loan sizes that are good, some loan sizes that are bad, some acquisition costs that we need to stay in and stay under. And so what we did is we've taken all of the leads that were generated, then only the leads that actually consolidated their debt and what the total debt amount was of that lead, and then tie that debt amount back to the campaign ad group keyword and ad and all the other areas inside the campaign. And what's really crazy about this is when you know your numbers really well, or you want to, or just maybe even want to see just how the leads are doing, or maybe you made some assumptions like this keyword is really, really great, this one's always bad. I'm going to share with you why that's it's so important to do this when you can do this. And I think that everyone has the ability to do this. It just takes a little bit of additional tracking on the back end. But I'll give you an example. So we're going to go into the debt consolidation campaign, and then we're going to look at keywords. And now this isn't giving away any trade secrets because it's pretty much any good Google Ads agency would be able to kind of target these keywords, but it's unique to his funnel, his sales process, his additional advertising, blah, blah, blah. But what we can see here is I've taken the chart type and turned it into a summary chart. And from the keyword level, you can see that the search terms here show up to the top. And I've taken the all conversion value column and I've given that an attribute of sale. So you can see how it says conversions equals sale. And you'll see that that's the amount of money that was generated at the time of this person actually becoming a client of our client. And what you'll notice is debt consolidation loan, we spent $3,600 on it and have consolidated $195,000 worth of debt between just May 17th and June 13th. So not even a full month yet. Debt consolidation, we spent $1,400 and made $83,000. Now it's really particular about this client is we thought debt consolidation was going to be our top performing keyword. Debt consolidation loan turned out actually be the top performing keyword and is within the KPI that he needs. It needs to be under a 2% acquisition cost. So what's cool about this is we can see like consolidate debt. We spent $543 and made $12,000. Now what's cool about this is you can already see the value in it. What keyword is actually delivering you what type of result. But then you got to start to think about, well, what else can we create for this? We know that scalability is going to come from specific keywords. We know that certain keywords that we thought performed didn't. But then you have to think about, well, what about locations, for example? If we look at the user location report, you can actually see that if you sort by do modify columns, all conversion value, and bring this up to the top, and then you actually have cost and bring that up to the top. You can actually see what state you spent what amount of money on, what the amount of loans were created in that area, and see if this is something that is falling in line or not. When you look at state, you see, well, okay, well, Arizona and Ohio and Wisconsin, we spent 100, 300, 200, pretty close to, Indiana. Indiana, we spent 230 and made 66,000 in consolidated loans. This one we spent 300 and nothing. 0.17 is basically just phone calls and that kind of stuff that have a no weight to it. So this doesn't actually have a value amount to it. So now we're looking at it and says, well, what state's going to be delivering us the most amount of success? And as this grows over time, you can see California does really well. If you sort by all conversion value, you can see, this one, $65 and 18,000. This is a really valuable, valuable state. So we know we don't have much volume, but you can kind of see when you import the post-conversion information as to what actually took place. I mean, you can do this with sales. You can do this with, lead generation, do this lead aggregation. You can do this with, obviously e-commerce runs off of this model, but this is taking the e-commerce approach to a lead generation model and finding out my demographics, my age, my sex, my household income, my location, the keywords, the campaigns, the ad copy, the ad group, and find out what is actually working, what is not. And what's nice about this is when you have a pretty consistent pipeline of taking that GCLID information and simply just uploading that into Google, you just can use this as your one marketing reporting dashboard. Where's it's being spent, what are we telling people, how much money have we made, how much, is it doing with the KPI, blah, blah, blah. And you can take that post-conversion data back into Google and say, where did this come from and how do we get more of it?
I like what you just said about using the e-commerce approach for lead generation, because the e-commerce paradigm is so much easier when you have an e-commerce client inside of Google Ads. It's easier to track how much money you're making, look at the lifetime value of a customer, see how much money you can invest, because all the numbers are there. But it's not that you can't do that in lead generation, it's just harder. Now, let's have a logistical discussion just real quick, because capturing UTM and GCLID data is pretty easy. It's not the easiest thing in the world, but there's, you jump through a couple of hoops and bam, you're getting UTM and GCLID information the same way you're capturing the leads.
HubSpot does it, Salesforce does it, and Infusionsoft, if it was still a thing, they used to do it. Yeah.
There's a jab at Infusionsoft in case you don't know what's bitter. So that's the logistical discussion I want to have with you. You have to be using CRM, right? I mean, trying to do this in Excel is just going to be damn near impossible.
Well, Excel won't capture UTM. So you need to have some sort of physical property that will
Sure, but what I mean
UTM.
is, like, I see a lot of clients that are capturing UTM and GCLID parameters because the lead intelligence comes through via the email. And so in the email they receive, it's like, here's all the information, including, like we actually have it. Our leads come through this way. The footer of the email, you've got your GCLID, your entire URL string, actually. But after that, you need to append that to a contact record in a database. Do you have a preference, John, from a CRM perspective? Is there one that you really like?
I like HubSpot. It's the one that I think that probably will give us the best result in this. I'll use an example of a client that we're working on right now and kind of developing something like this.
Well, the problem with HubSpot, while you're looking this up, just so everybody knows, is it doesn't track Google Ads data well, and yet they claim to have a Google Ads integration.
Yeah, it doesn't track it really well. It's missing a lot of key information. Now there's ways around it. We have a way that we developed called the kind of 2-year cookie that kind of overrides this, which is good, and it works. It's functional. Doing this on your own is a little bit difficult. You're going to capture about 30 to 40% of it, of the actual leads GCLID information. But inside of HubSpot, what I do like about this is you can look at specific. Let's just look at deals actually, for example, and let's see, closed one. So this is, if we were to look at, did this come from Google Ads? We'd have to look at, okay, well, who's the person? Matt Rube was a salesperson, but what is the lead? This one was actually closed, new business. They had $71,000 worth of revenue. Okay, perfect. So $71,000 in revenue in this one deal for a building. It's a metal building. And this $71,000 is tied back to Donald Smith. So where did Donald Smith come from? Well, Donald Smith for this client came from Facebook, is where it keeps jumping on me. But yeah, so the client, this one was created from Facebook. So you know that the Facebook, if you're using UTMs, that Facebook's campaign ad group, and this ad inside that campaign that had that click that generated that sale, you'd be tying $71,000 back into it. Well, same thing with GCLID. If it has a GCLID of that user, and there's $71,000, you export this and then import it into Google Ads as, this GCLID made us $71,000, and that's all you need. It's just a GCLID. You don't need any other information. So HubSpot can do it. HubSpot can generate it pretty easily, but it is, unless you're using that GTM force cookie, you're going to miss like 70% of them. So it's the best one I've seen so far, I should say. That doesn't need tweaking.
Sure. One, the disclaimer we should make is we're actually HubSpot certified partners, but we were users before we were partners. It's not like we picked HubSpot because we wanted to sell it. We just used it and loved it.
Yeah, we found that we were able to change it into what we need in order to fulfill what we were looking to do. And so, but I mean, I would imagine, Pardot, I think, does it really well. Pardot has great campaign UTM capturing mechanisms, and Pardot will attach a UTM, such as GCLID, to a user and have that user follow through the life cycle of stages. So Pardot does it really well. I mean, I just don't have any firsthand experience with Pardot. Our client does. But when we send it over to them and they send it back, it works really, really well. This client here is using a custom CRM tool that he's made with the developer. So it's kind of, you know, a one-off approach. But any way that you can track along with, you know, GCLID, the person or the lead, let's say, and what happened with that lead, and at least have a field that says this is a good lead because of X, like we made 20,000 or we sold 10 boats, whatever it is. You can take that information and pipe it back into Google Ads and actually see where that came from. And not only that, what were the search terms? Keywords are good, but if you look at search terms, one thing that we found out was, this is an example. Let me restructure my columns, conversion, all conversion value. Look at all conversion value by cost here. What we found out is, let's see, there we go, debt consolidation programs, for example. You can see this one has been added because we found out that we spent $30 and made 20,000 in closed loans. Well, that's a really, really, really good ratio for this client. So what I did is we hopped into their campaign and I actually added debt consolidation programs as a positive keyword, because what was interesting is we actually weren't trying for that keyword. If you look at the keyword that was triggered at the time of that search, debt consolidation programs, it was actually debt consolidation. So, or it's interesting is, there we go, debt consolidation programs. This was debt consolidation loan was attributed, but we have debt consolidation loans are both triggering for debt consolidation programs. What that tells us is this is a pretty popular search term. If it's matching up with multiple exact match keywords that aren't even triggering or aren't even supposed to be triggering for debt consolidation programs. So that indicates that, you know, there is users there is visibility. So let's go and add that as a negative key phrase, because we know when that does happen, and we weren't even trying, but when it does happen, what result was came from that. So really cool stuff here that we can glean from tracking post conversion and then piping that information back in and seeing where it came from.
Yeah, that's awesome. This is also just a really good, you know, off-topic soundbite, but it's a good reason to have expansive search terms. If you get too granular or too focused, you're never going to find these, you know, these little golden nuggets.
Yeah, and always monitor your search terms, because you're like, nope, I'm going after this exact match. Well, Google's exact match is no longer exact match. You know, debt consolidation loan keyword exact match is loan consolidation. And that happened 568 times. That's not something that, you know, that should have happened. But if you're not monitoring your search term, you're just assuming that exact means exact. It doesn't. And then having the results tied to that, oops, we accidentally showed up for that. Well, what happened? We made a lot of money. Well, let's go after it some more. You know, it's like that.
What happened here? I made more money.
There's a mistake. Make that again.
That's awesome. Cool. Yeah. If you're watching this and you have any questions, hit the comments. Let us know. Don't forget to share it with your friends. Like the video.
Hit the bell thing.
Hit John's bell.
Yeah.